Thank you, Mr. President. Good senators. I want to thank the senator from District 9 for pointing out that this is an expansion of the launch grant. But I just want us to all recognize that it is quite an expansion. The senator from District 11 spoke about the holes we have in our K-12 schools right now. And I'm a firm believer that the pipeline to the workforce starts in K-12. It does. And I know that there are some funds in the new K-12 budget that are going to be used for that pipeline. But I want to read, if possible, from the ballot initiative that was put out by the ballot question that was put out in regards to the funds for this that are planning to be used for this.
In 2022?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Do you approve or disapprove of the state of Idaho using the record budget surplus to refund $500 million back to hardworking Idaho taxpayers, cut ongoing income taxes by more than $150 million, and put more money in our classrooms by increasing education and student funding by a record $410 million? Your approval of this effort would combat historic inflation by returning money to taxpayers, creating a simple flat tax, and making the single largest investment in public education in Idaho history. Now, overwhelmingly, all across the state, voters said, yes, we want that investment in our public schools. Well, it kind of feels wrong to tell the voters, after we put a question on the ballot for them for $410 million, that we're going to come in here and say, well, we have a different plan for it. And trust me, it'll be good for you. I know you voted for this, but it'll be good for you. Don't worry. We're going to scalp $80 million off the top and use it for something else. You know, I'm holding a stack of papers of the people that will benefit from that $80 million bucks. It's not the taxpayers from my district. I'm sure it will, if this program was to advance, it would provide some benefit. But it's not what we said we were going to do. And that matters to me. I think it's important that we keep our word. I think it's important that we keep our word to the citizens and the voters of Idaho that, I believe, every district in the state of Idaho supported putting $410 million into our K-12 schools. So on behalf of the voters of District 12, this senator will be a no. Mr. President, to debate a second time.
Does anyone wish to debate the bill for the first time? Senator Adams, you're recognized to debate for the second time.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I understand that this has gone on, and I appreciate all the testimony too. But I wanted to touch on a few things that I maybe missed in my first go around. So, you know, this bill, I feel, is a debate about ultimately where we're going to put funds. It's where we're going to put funds. Whether we're going to put it in our K-12 schools, which is our constitutional obligation, or somewhere else that is outside of our constitutional obligation. I'd like to thank several senators because they really spurred me on today. I'd like to thank the senator from District 21 for pointing out the vision that the pipeline in K-12 CTE programs, what we can do with that. He talked about Meridian, but we need that in every district, in every city, not just the high population areas. We need to make that available. That's a hole in our K-12 pipeline to employment. It was just brought up by the senator from District 25 that how this money was going to be spent was discussed previously when we came back in to pass House Bill 1. But that definitely was not everyone in the legislature, and that most definitely was not the voter who showed up to the ballots, to the ballot box, and voted for $410 million to go to K-12 education, classrooms, public schools. And the last thing I just want to touch on, the senator from District 20 mentioned in this list that these were small businesses. And there are some small businesses in there. But since this was handed out by the sponsor, I just want to tell you some of the small businesses that support this legislation. And you tell me if they're small business, because I don't want us to pretend that this is anything other than what it is. I think that would be disingenuous to the folks that pay attention to what we do in this building. So here are some of the small businesses. A lot of lobby groups, mining, Idaho Power, very small business, Simplot, Micron, INL, the hospitals, Caterpillar Western States, and Republic Services. Those are all small businesses, allegedly. I don't want us to be confused about what we're doing here. So, and that is not to besmirch the folks that brought this bill, or are carrying this bill, or are going to vote for this bill. But I think it's so important that we are honest with the folks out there. And I will still be voting no.